Justice League. Justice League. Justice League.
I'ma give you something to
I didn't know coming out here to, a month or I didn't have that. I was like estranged from my physical family. So my only family was my brothers in prison. That's it. Point blank. I didn't know nothing. So when I come home and get in touch with my so-called blood family, nothing was the same. Like nothing. And in actuality, it was exactly the same. And it was what they caused me to get away from it. And I chose that I don't want to, that's not something that I want to deal with. Neither do I want to deal with it in meeting new people. Like, I'm not for the self-inflicted issues, which you can't do. I use myself as the perfect example when I expound on what you can do. Don't tell me what you can't do. The doctor, they give doctors a certain amount of, doctor told me, dude, you possibly never walk again. Your memory gonna blah, and a bunch of other stuff that accompanied my disease. I didn't come home like everybody else did. 9 months before I got released, I got diagnosed with MS. Mm-hmm. I was put in a wheelchair until I could walk again. So it took me 9 months. I had to use those 9 months to structure a new plan that I had been structuring for 20-some years, bro. Mm-hmm. I had 9 months. But not only was I doing that, but I had to learn to walk, bro. I had to learn to hold my balance.
But see, one thing Roger said that we got to realize, and he hit a point with me. When we go in, we come from all the negativity. That's what it produces. All the negativity we have been enduring, and we have been capitalizing off of, and we have been building up ourselves and succumbing to, comes to that point where it balls over. We get incarcerated. We go in. You got a choice. You have a choice. As soon as you go in, on what you're going to be, what you want to do, and how it's going to go. You have that choice. So just like Roger said, he didn't want to have anything to do with what brought him in when he came out. I was the opposite. When I came in, I didn't want to have anything to do with what took me in there. Yeah. When it led me, I thought I was being what I was supposed to be. I thought that was my destiny. To sell drugs, to live a street life. It may sound funny to the average person, but in my mind, that's what I was meant to be and do at that point. Forget all the positives. Forget everything that I had gained in life at that point of 24 years old. So when it led to prison, I said, if that life leads to this, and I'm getting sent to a red onion where they talking to me, call me boy in 5 minutes, putting dog leashes on me, put me in a 23-1 cell. I'm seeing people getting killed. I'm seeing people get shot in their face. If it leads to this, I don't want that life. And I don't want that to define me. Mm-hmm. So at that point, I started going to the dynamic opposite in behavior, in action, ways, and deeds. But the familiar increased. So the people that came from what I came from, that's what I was attracted to, but they had made the change too. Yeah. See, that was the difference. Whether they came from the same streets, maybe different cities, different locales, but they was of me in creed because I could recognize myself in them. Yeah. So even the culture.
That triangle always had its head. It always flipped. Sometimes you were at that triangle and me and Raheem was at the bottom. Sometimes Raheem was at that triangle and you and me was at the bottom. Sometimes I was at the top and you and him was at the bottom. It always flipped. But when we were there, we had that shit on lock. Like I remember it like yesterday. And like the way I live my life now, I kind of govern my life like that. Being at home, having a wife there, and like that's why I got married, because I wanted to keep myself on the path and keep myself honest getting out. If I didn't marry my wife at the time where she asked me, she said, do you want to get married? It wasn't a statement, it was a question, right? So she was giving me a choice. Do you want to commit to me, or do you have some things that you need to do? You know what I'm saying? Before you can do this. I was fully ready to commit because I was fully ready to commit to living. I had been existing all of that time. I learned everything I needed to learn, being around the people I needed to be around to exist. Now it was time to start living. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that was a major step. I'm an Aries, I'm a fire sign. I've always been bold and a go-getter and being straightforward. For me, that was a big step for me. Saying those vows. It doesn't matter whether it was under Christian doctrine or what all of that shit. It didn't matter that we had to go in.
I'ma give you something to talk